I want to talk TV license in the UK. It's a hot topic in the UK. People are sick and tired of this. So effectively, it's like legislation. I think it's like law in law that we have to pay for a TV license. So some people don't explain it very well, or they don't really understand it. Effectively, if you're going to watch live broadcasted TV, like traditional content on television, um, or even if it's streamed online, like sports, um, or any broadcast really, then you need a TV license. So that gets quite expensive because the problem I'll explain the problem I have with it in a minute, which I don't think is quite really explained very well. It's not fit for purpose. That's the worst part of it all. But also it's quite expensive. Personally, I think people. So what it is, we have Freeview TV. So like most people do, I think even in other countries, you'll have content. You turn the telly on, and you've got loads of TV channels you can just watch. Um, that's literally obviously free. Then you've got paid subscriptions, a bit like cable in other countries. So we've got satellite cable. In the UK, for instance, Sky is the biggest one. Um, a huge service. If I could just get it up. So Sky is a huge service. Um, and the other one is Virgin Media. So both same channels really. It's just Sky has an exclusive one. Virgin's better value. Integrates a lot of other deals within it. You got a Freeview, so it's just a free TV. As you Freeview is what you just normally have free on a TV really, and you can I think you can watch it online as well. This is just me searching for it really. But to watch live broadcasted TV, like I said, and have these services, you need a TV license on top. And that's where the problem is. So it keeps going up in price every year, from my understanding. It's now £13 something a month, which I think is ridiculous. Because when you equate it, it's like to watch telly that's already free and has advertisements placed within it, you're paying a license fee on top, which is the equivalent price of something like Netflix. So if you consider all the content, like if you used to subscribe to Netflix and you look at all the content available, all those TV shows, all those movies, that's crazy. And you're paying a service provider for that. But when you're paying for a TV license, it makes no sense because look at all the adverts on the channels. So a lot of us, for instance, I don't know if it's the correct way of seeing it, but it funds an awful lot of BBC content. So all the other content creator providers, for instance, have advertising, whereas BBC don't have advertising. So we're compensating that by having to pay this license fee every month, or you can pay it annually, or you can pay it quarterly. But it adds up. So I explain why it bothers me. Because personally, I think if you pay for a subscription service, at the very least, I think the fee should be included in that cost. That makes sense. So let us know what the total fee is. If you was a foreigner coming here, you might not even know a TV license fee is needed. Like you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So effectively, if it turns out you need one and you don't have one, and they find out, like for instance, they investigate and they find out that you needed one, you can have like £1,000 fine. That's crazy, isn't it? Just because you didn't need one. And from my understanding, I think it was through TV license in the past. I'm pretty sure it is what it is. It's like no matter. This is one of the worst parts. So it's £13 something a month. So it's you get it, and it's based on a 12-month license, for instance. So the first month, it doesn't matter what date you sign up, you have to pay the full month for no matter what date you pick that month. So even if you're like 2 days away, like let's say it's the 28th of the month, so you've got literally 2 days left of that month, they don't discount it. They don't figure out how many days is there to the month, and then sort of like make it so like maybe you pay £1.50, which would make sense, or something like that. Instead, you pay the full amount for that month, and you may have only had 2 days worth of license needed. That doesn't make sense. So someone else paid the same price and they were covered all month. So that means you could have had a TV for all month. What? So you're getting a lot less time out of the fee than everybody else is. That's ridiculous. The other part is, so some people will say, "Oh, it's only £13 a month. It's fine. It's not that bad." Some people say that. If you decide to join now, like if you're as a new customer, and you go, right, I've just started watching live telly, or I need a license, so you sign up. And this is the worst part for me, is they make you pay the whole license fee within the first 6 months. That's so effectively, if you decide I'm going to pay monthly, you could have your neighbours had a license, they've had it regularly, so they're paying £13 something now a month. They're probably annoyed because it keeps going up. But you sign up, and maybe it's cost. Maybe you do the monthly option. It's going to cost you £28 a month for the first 6 months. This is what it does, and then after that 6 months, then you'll pay the going rate everybody else is, because they want you to pay effectively. You're paying the first 6 months is you paying for this year, and the next 6 months is you paying for the following year. So you're always ahead. It's like, what? And of course, if you cancel it at some point, you can get a refund, but it's not the point. That's a lot of money in one go. So, for instance, you sign up to Virgin Media or you sign up to Sky, you're now paying a subscription fee. So let's say you've signed up, it's costing you £70 a month for TV and things. You've got all these packages, you've got the movies, you've got sport, you're looking forward to just sitting down and watching telly. And you think, that's pushing me a little bit. That's a lot of money just for some telly, but I'm a bit bored of streaming services and I like to have something a bit more substance. You know, I actually find streaming services are a bit too intense. So I do actually like to watch normal, traditional telly sometimes. I find it just relaxing. And I like sport. So let's say you pay £60, £70 a month, you're thinking, that's a lot of money. And it's like, maybe it's pushed you a little bit. Like, that's going to push me. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to get a TV license. All right, it's £13 a month. It ain't ideal. And then you go to sign up and you're forced to pay £28 a month because that's the only option. What? 28? That's not worth it now. Now we're paying it £100 a month. Like, I'm not paying £100 a month for telly. And then this is where it messes up the subscription services, because Sky and Virgin Media and all these other companies, they must be losing customers because people are having to add that to the costs and say, can I afford that? It's not sustainable. That's ridiculous. If to the TV license is getting annoyed that people are cancelling their licenses, they're not watching live content, they're giving up on it all. But they're the ones that are making it really hard for everybody. If you just made it a set price, £13 a month, and you let someone sign up and we can pay £13 a month today, and that covers you the whole month, and you let us do it on an ongoing monthly basis rather than an annual license, you'll find people would probably sign up more. But you turn around and say you need a license and we're going to charge you monthly, and now it's costing you £28. You're like, for what? I'm not paying £28. For £28 a month, I can get Netflix, Disney, and Amazon Prime. That makes more sense to me. That's what people are doing. They're saying, I'm not paying this TV license to watch free content, which is only basic channels, and that equates at that price for the first 6 months is the same as having those free apps. That doesn't make sense. And then on top of that, I'm going to pay £70 a month for the TV channels as well. The maths ain't mathing, is it? I might as well pay £30 for free streaming apps and instead of £100 for all this, because this isn't worth the cost of this. And that is where people are losing their minds. You can do quarterly, and that's usually the one I think turns out better. There is a little fee added, like £5 a year more, but it's just a bit more spread out. Effectively, you're not paying in advance with that one. So I think it's something like every 3 months you'd pay, let's say it's £45, but then that works out you're paying £15 a month instead of 28. You know, so maybe the first month's hard, but then 3 months later you've got to pay 45. But it's still annoying because it's a lot of it adds up, you know, and on top of it all, you have a normal bills. So most of us just get resentful for it. It just becomes a bit of a joke, and that for me personally is part of the reason why I end up cancelling my TV services. It's not usually because the TV services are extortionately high. It's because I get sick and tired of the fee for the license on top. It adds up and it's too expensive. Like, why they don't incorporate that in the subscription fee in the first place, I don't know. And like many of us have said, like, I think personally it needs to be abolished. There must be other ways they can generate income, even if they've got to put some adverts like everybody else. I don't think we should be subsidising it. On the other hand of that, I'm not that resentful. I'm just resentful of the practice that's in place to make you pay it. For instance, where you're having to pay extortionate amounts to begin with. I think it's too high. If you let me pay £13, just like the neighbour's paying, I'll pay that. And we can pay it now, and we can do that ongoing. But if you keep making people jump through hoops and make it complicated, you're going to find people are going to look at it and go, I'm not paying that. It's too complicated. It's too expensive. So they're shooting themselves in the foot by being greedy in advance. And that's my opinion. But no, for instance, if you add it up, I think it's about 160 something pound a month a year now. I think nearly 170. That's a lot of money. But in honesty with me, because I like sport, even though I have the sports channels and everything now, but I still love Match of the Day on BBC One. I haven't watched it a long time because I didn't have a license, but now I've applied for my license. Well, I have to. Um, and I'm looking forward to watching Match of the Day again because I used to love watching Match of the Day. So Match of the Day, if people don't know, is it's like soccer football, but it's highlights on a Saturday evening. I also replay it again on a Monday, on a Sunday. But you could record it, of course, and it's just a highlight thing, but it's great and it's traditional in the UK. It's been going on for years, and I think personally, if you think like the football season, the Premier League over the course of a year, I think personally, £170, that shows for me that shows worth that price. Like other people will watch TV like sitcom like TV series like EastEnders, which I hate, and there'd be reasons to validate. For me, Match of the Day validates the fee. It's just how you have to pay it pisses me off. To be honest, it's too expensive on top of your subscriptions. Um, yeah, and look, if you're not even paying for a subscription, it's probably just as annoying anyway, like paying that. But the way I see it is, if you're not paying a subscription fee and you've got only basic channels, there's still quite a lot of content there, and it's a bit, and it's a preference, isn't it? £13 a month, and okay, you don't get Netflix, but then the content's far more, I think, freeing. So anyway, yeah, I think they should abolish it. I think it's time to abolish it, only because I think the fact that they're making it like a criminal thing, I think that's absolutely outrageous. To say you're breaking the law if you don't have a license for your TV, it's like how out of date is that? It's absolutely insane. I can't go through the process here because if I do the pay for license, it then asks for my name, my address, and all these other details. But effectively, like you can do the first stage. So you've got renew card schemes. You can pay by payment card. You can pay weekly, or you can set up a direct debit, credit or debit card. So you renew. Let's say you do new license. You'd say you want it for yourself, and now it's going to ask, have you needed it before today? If you have, put a date in. So this is it. Look, your license will normally end up to 12 months from this date. The rest of the month and 11 months after that. 12 months from this date. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they like that thing I said before. I think it is though. I do think that you pay and then you lose the rest of the month. So you'd say no. I confirm I haven't needed a license before today. Buy your license now, and it will start today. You'll then be covered for the yeah. There you go. You'll then be covered for the rest of this month. So if you started on the 28th of the month, you'll be covered for the rest of this month. So you pay the whole month fee, and in this case, they want you to pay 6 months in advance. It's going to cost you £28 for 2 days worth of a license. Where's the sense in that shit? That's ridiculous. Because it says that, look, we're covered for the rest of this month and 11 months after that. £28 for 2 days? Nah. And that's where I think it's not fair. So someone could investigate your home 2 days before the end of the month, and you'd think, well, I was going to do it on the first because it's only fair. And they could say, no, you're breaking the law because you haven't got a license. You need to have had a license for those 2 days, right? But then who's going to refund me for the days I didn't use then when I'm paying the full amount? Oh, no, you don't get refund. Like, what? This isn't balanced. It's not fair. It only favours them. But it's crazy. And then you'll get options for free payments, whether you want monthly, quarterly, or annually. So if you pay annually, if you've got the money on you and you feel comfortable doing it, you can just obviously pay it all at once, £170. But for someone like for myself who's just joined, I recently just joined Virgin Media. I did show that on my, I've got a video here I put on my TikTok. And the problem is, you sign up. So mine's £85 a month, but it does include a SIM card for your mobile phone, and it does include my broadband, a 1 gig broadband. So I did it here where I've wrote that. I've said it's split. £85. This isn't the exact split, but I'm just putting it into sense that it makes sense to me. That's how I see it. So £30 for 1 gig broadband is cheap to me. £30 for the HD TV. So you've got Sky Cinema, which is the movie channel. You've got Sky Sports, and obviously a lot of other channels as well. A lot of Sky channels built in. For £30, that's cheap. And I think, and the way I see it is a £20 for the SIM card and £5 for Netflix. So the £85 breaks down quite nice. Now, when you join, they state that you'll probably be paid. It's likely you'll be paid. Your bill might be double the price the first month because effectively they generate a bill maybe because there's a 14-day cooling off period where you can cancel. So after the 14 days, they then generate the bill. So once they generate the bill, then you've got another 14 days to pay it. So effectively, by the time the bill comes, you're paying for the service you've had up until that date, and then you're also paying for the month coming forward. And in future, you'll always be paying for the month going forward. So you'll be paying for the service before you've received it. Covers them if you don't pay. So the real problem you've got is, let's say you join like I've done. It's an £85 bundle, which means it's likely to cost me £160, £170 for the first payment, which is a lot of money to find. And then you apply for a TV license, and they say, yeah, we want £30 a month as well. Oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You've made that really. You made me have a debate whether I want it, whether I could, not even just want it. Can I afford it? Because they're greedy as shit. It's unreal, isn't it? So effectively, that's what I say. Like companies like Virgin Media and Sky, they're going to have customers that potentially either just don't even apply for service because they know they can't afford it, or even after they've got it, they may have to question whether they can afford the payments and have to cancel it. Even though like, I can pay the £85, paying twice in the first month's pushing me, because they actually didn't say that at first, but I'm sort of aware of it. And then it was sort of it does state on your initial bill. This is an estimate. And like I say, then you've got the TV license behaving in the way they are. And it's like, this is just outrageous. So personally, I've applied for the quarterly payment for the TV license. It's just a lot at once. And it does make you look and go, oh, so I might not be able to have this. And why can't you have this? All because of the bloody TV license, because they're greedy as shit. So it has a knock on for everyone, doesn't it? You can't have service you want in your own country because you've got a situation that is not fit for purpose. And then you've also got the companies that are going to be hemorrhaging money like crazy because people can't afford to subscribe because of the extortionate price of the license. So everyone's suffering. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why it's got to be so expensive, though. I don't see that. It's just this greed thing. They're annoyed that a lot of people are cancelling it. But if you made it cheap, let's say you made it £5 a month, people are reluctant to pay for these sort of things in the first place. But you make it like reasonable, you'll find people are more accepting. You start being greedy, people just start cancelling it. They just get fed up. They're like, I can't afford that. How can you afford this on top of everything else? There's too many bills everywhere, and this is one of luxury. This is a luxury bill, yet they consider it law. It's crazy as shit. So most people have foregone it and just said, look, sod this shit. I'm just going to use streaming services because it's not live content, and that's enough for me. And it's like, it isn't like it's their choice. It's like they've been forced into it because it's the only logical answer to them. You know, at the end of the day, if there was no TV license, a lot of people would probably go back to watching traditional telly, and they'll integrate that between the subscription services, even if it's only the free-to-watch telly, which surely would only benefit everybody, because then there'd be more advertisement through it, and these companies, they can generate their own money rather than take it off the people who are watching it. So the knock-on effect is everywhere, and effectively, TV license is killing traditional TV, isn't it? It's literally killing traditional TV, and it doesn't, and yet they feel sorry for themselves. So and then they make their own services. So like in the UK, we've got BBC iPlayer. So if you haven't got a TV license, you haven't got iPlayer. But then there's plenty of alternatives. Like I said, the TV license a lot of the time is why I end up cancelling my services, because the problem is, even if you've got a subscription service, it always goes up every year anyway. So you end up with a rising costs, and then the TV license has the audacity to go up in price too. And then it's like, well, this is just becoming unaffordable. It doesn't make sense anymore. But a new thing that's really pissing everybody off now, because they know they're losing people, they're losing subscriptions with this. They're starting to look at ways where they can start forcing people to do it. So even if you watch Netflix and Amazon Prime and things, they're trying to find a way to make everybody pay. So it's going to force people to go back to DVDs, isn't it? But like, I've got a massive collection of DVDs and Blu-rays, but I do like sport. And I think the idea in this country that you can't watch sport without a license fee is it's barbaric. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the one thing in this country that I just think is absolutely mental, because it isolates a lot of people. There's some people on really low incomes, and it really ostracises them. And I can't help but think, when a big announcement gets made on the news and they say, right, everybody, oh my God, did you see it on the news? Oh, I haven't got a license. I hadn't got a TV license. Well, what was on the news? You know, people are missing out on the news. So you can't. It's just this country's crazy with this TV license, and someone needs to have the guts to hold them accountable. Um, it's crazy. It does say, I don't know if I can get it up now, where it says about if I go to the home screen, what does a license cover? Your TV license lets you enjoy a huge range of TV, which you should be able to watch for free. All TV channels like BBC, ITV, Channel 4, You and Dave, and international channels. Well, apart from BBC, the others have advertisements, so they're not reliant on it. The money is allowing you to watch them, but it only serves the BBC. So it's archaic. Look, pay TV services like Sky, Virgin Media, and EETV. Yeah. So I'm sure because I subscribe to Virgin Media, you then put on a database of someone that consumes live broadcast content. You know, so you're not going to get away from it. If you subscribe to something, they'll know about it, whether you would tell them or not. And there'll be an investigation, of course. Live TV on streaming services like YouTube, Prime Video, and Freely. So, like, for instance, if YouTube, probably something like if there's a boxing event, that's what they mean. Like, if it's sport, let's say it's the World Cup, something big, and it's broadcast. It won't be like live streamers gaming. Well, I wouldn't put it past them one day. And it's the same with Prime Video. They show sports events. And I did think that when they started broadcasting that, thinking that's going to come under the TV license. There's going to be a problem. That's going to become a problem. And everything on iPlayer. This includes watching, recording, and downloading on any device. It's just a bit of a shambles. But like I said, my biggest problem is the way they charge the license fee. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, just give me the chance to pay on a monthly basis. That's at the lowest rate we can get it, and it's affordable. Making me pay £28 for the first 6 months each month is mental. And then they wonder why people don't bother with it. And this is the problem. So even though I've just recently joined my service, I have 14 days, and I've got to make a decision whether I can afford it within that 14 days. With it, you know what I mean? Because it has to make sense. There's no point in me going, it'll be fine, and then the bills come in and I can't pay it. Like I said, because when you join a subscription service, it's expensive for the first payment. So you have to try and have allowance for that. But it doesn't help the TV license decide to be anal retentive dipshits that demand so much up front. It's like crazy. But they're their own downfall. It's their greed and their lack of transparency and things. It's just crazy. Yeah. So even though I've applied for one, I can easily just cancel it. I've had that problem before with them, where I say, look, I'm cancelling it. I don't want it, because I was going to get a subscription, then I cancelled it. And they were saying, and then they were to and froing with me for an email. Are you sure? I thought, I've just told you, you dipshit. I'm not going to go around in circles explaining to you that I've decided to cancel it. My first application to cancel it explains that I don't want it. But they don't. They do like to keep you, keep pushing it and pushing it. I just got fed up with them in the end. So like when I need one, I will have one. But when I don't, I will cancel it quite quick. So yeah, if you don't watch live content and you don't watch BBC applications and things, then you don't need it. And I think that's a misconception a lot of people have. Some people just don't understand. If you only watch Netflix, Amazon Prime, and like Disney and things like that, and YouTube, you're fine. You don't need a TV license. If you was to watch live broadcasted content on Amazon Prime, YouTube, and things like that, such as like sport events and things like that, then you will need a TV license. And you can only do an annual TV license. You'd have to sign up for the year, and then you'd either pay monthly, quarterly, or annually. And if you say, I only want it for that session, well, guess what? You're definitely paying for the month, because they do that, don't they? So you can apply for it, watch it, and then cancel after if you choose to, and they'll refund you for the other months. But you definitely lose a month's payment. But if you only watch one event, I mean, it's up to you if you want to risk. I don't see how they know everything you're doing. So if you was to watch, let's say there was a boxing event, I'm not going to say do it, because obviously legal ramifications, blah, blah, blah. But if there was like a sport event, one-off event, they're not really going to know you watched it. So I wouldn't sort of get in a hell fit going, oh my God, I'm being monitored. It's not a case at all. But I think if you're that obviously personal preference. If I was just watching one event, I don't give a shit. I'll just do what I want, you know. But if it's going to be I'm watching things regularly, then yeah, I'm going to sign up to the license. I'm not sure. I wouldn't sign up to a license for one event. I don't give a shit what the rules are. That's just pointless. And that's their own fault. They're greedy as shit, and they're their own downfall. You know, we try to do it. Most people try to be fair. You try to do things the right way, but when something's not fit for purpose, it just becomes a pain in your ass. And then you think, do I want to invest in this corruption anymore anyway? And I said, it's that if you're paying annually, you haven't really got this headache. So if you can afford the one-off cost, it's not that big. It's not a huge problem. It's still a bit of money though, isn't it? But I just find monthly is heavy because if you can't afford the upfront fee, then obviously your money isn't as you're not in such a financial position. You're not in a very strong financial position. And someone could say, well, if you can afford your subscription, then you should be able to afford the TV license. It's not the case of that at all. TV license effectively the TV license in the first 6 months, each month is the equivalent potentially of half of a subscription service. But yet the TV license only gives you permission to watch the stuff. It doesn't actually give you access to it. It doesn't make sense. And it only funds the BBC. But yet it's half the value of a TV subscription, which unlocks so many channels and so much content. It just brings it to life, you know? And it's like, this is great. Look at all the stuff I can watch. Oh, what does the TV license give me? Oh, it just gives me permission. Ah, so what? If I don't have a TV license, does the stuff show? The basic channels still show? Yeah. You can still see it. You can watch it, but you know it's up. You're not supposed to. So, like someone else said, there was a comment on a previous video that I've seen. Someone said, I don't know why they just don't encrypt the video then and don't let you watch it until you got a license. And I thought, well, that's an answer. Like I said, I think if you've got a subscription service, it should just be a given. It should be included in that. But I think the price is too high anyway. I think £13 something makes sense. It doesn't make sense because we're always going to compare it to everything. Because like I say, the first time I see it, I'm straight away comparing it to Netflix. And then I'm asking what's on TV that's worth watching compared to Netflix. And TV is quite repetitive. Anyway, that's my little introduction to TV license in the UK. And you can't be, this isn't one of those things where you can be ignorant to it. You know, you can't come to the UK, act like you didn't know because they don't give a shit. It's like, it's a given. I don't know how you, and it's one of those things where I wonder that, like, if you genuinely don't know, what was you supposed to do about it? But, you know, the other advice I'd give you is, because I've seen people talk about it, is if someone comes to investigate your property, don't tell them anything. The only thing you need to say to them is, I don't need a license, and then just shut the door on them. If they keep trying to talk, you don't need to talk. Do not bring them into your home, even if you've, even if you're trying to be totally transparent. I only watch one show. They will get you for it. They will get you for it. If they find a cable connected to anything, they'll just put anything and everything, and they'll act like they're being nice to you, and then you'll get a fine in the post because it's perceived that you access content when you shouldn't have done, and you never had a license. So that's literally breaking the law. So then you get a huge fine. So the best thing you can do is not even engage with them. Just explain, don't need a license, and don't make it so they can see in your home. So if they could be taking photos and things, if they can see through your windows and stuff. So that's the advice I would give. But that's not doing anything nefarious. It's literally just saying these people can't be trusted, so don't give them any ammunition. It's one of those things. You give them the minimum information, and they can't make assumptions. You can't find someone based on an assumption of guilt. You got to prove the guilt. You can't prove it if you just say, I haven't watched anything. I don't watch TV. I don't watch live broadcast. So literally, you don't even have to explain it in those words. All you've got to do is say, I don't need a TV license, and then shut the door. Don't engage with them. Because they're an external party company anyway. They're looking to make profits by extortion, by that. Because they work on behalf of third party for the TV licensing. Whole process there, isn't it? But like, all they had to do was drop the price to a reasonable price and make it easy to pay each month rather than upfront, and it would have been fine. But they can't get their head out their arse, and eventually it's going to have to be abolished because people are not quiet about this in the UK. They're really not. There's an awful lot of uproar online and things, but I think you push it enough, and I think it's that mental that people will eventually be on the streets and eventually voting for specific parties that decide. That's the bad thing. That's how mental it is in the UK with this TV license. I wouldn't be surprised if one party, when it comes to the nominations and things, with elections, if one party said we're definitely abolishing the TV license, that could be enough to get someone into government. That's how mad it is, because people are sick and tired of it. No one listens, and it's the corruption. There's so much corruption in it as well. But like I say, for a reasonable price, I can understand it. I like Match of the Day, and for me, I feel like I'm investing in the show that I enjoy watching. But there's alternatives anyway. There's a lot of alternative content free on YouTube, for instance. So they need to get with the times. That's what it needs. It needs to be modernised, and don't make it so hard for people to pay because it's like that's the only that's the crux to their own system. It's stupid.